there, everyone. Welcome to another great video game ideas not used video, GVGINU for short. As always, I'm Andre, and it is a pleasure to share my thoughts with you. So, this morning I was just able to have my chance to actually check out the Gamescom presentations by Microsoft and Sony. Nintendo doesn't have one. They're there with their games on the show floor, but they don't actually have a presentation, so I can't really comment about what they're doing right now. I'll say Microsoft and Sony both had pretty decent presentations, and I think it's honestly quite amazing that Sony has actually, broke that 10 million PS4 mark. Though I do find it sad that it has completely eclipsed the PS Vita. I'm looking forward to a lot of the games. I can't even think of all the names of them right now. I mean, off the top of my head, Bloodborne is looking really interesting for the PS4. Tearaway is looking actually pretty good for the PS4, but I kind of find it sad that the most innovative game, at least from my perspective, but the most innovative game that was on the Vita that actually used the system properly is actually going to be the most innovative game on the PS4 that actually uses the system properly. I find that to be rather sad. I mean, you mean to tell me that there's only one developer out there for the PS4 that actually will utilize the hardware to its fullest capability, even if they're not pushing graphics? There's only one developer out there that will actually try, and that's Media Molecule. So kudos to them. I kind of find it sad that these bigger name publishers and developers aren't actually pushing the envelope to bring different styles of gameplay. It's honestly really disheartening. Tomb Raider, the Rise of the Tomb Raider actually looked pretty good, and for those who did not know, it is a timed Xbox One exclusive. I mean, I saw so many comments on the IGN video about people saying they didn't care for Tomb Raider anymore just because it was an exclusive for Xbox platforms, just to come to find out that it is a timed exclusive. That puts a lot of things in perspective, doesn't it? I mean, you love the series, but now you hate it because it is on this particular platform. That's not how you should be as a gamer. If you love a series that much, you are that dedicated to it as a fan, or like you say you are, then it shouldn't matter what platform it is available on. What should matter is if the game is of a good quality for you. But that aside, I mean, I find that to be ridiculously redundant that people would go that way. And they literally went to the Microsoft conference video to make this comment that, oh, it's not on the PS4, I'm not getting it. What difference does it make? Just to come to find out, yeah, it will be on the PS4. It's just a timed exclusive for the Xbox One. But how many people went touting No Man's Sky without understanding that that game was already set to be on PC as well? I said that back right after E3. Right after E3. And I guess people didn't really know that. I'm like, how did you not know that? And these big news outlets didn't realize this. And I'm sorry, I went and looked at the website and it said PS4 and PC. I'm pretty sure it's not going to Xbox One because Microsoft has that thing in place where they are supposed to get the game either first or at the same time as everyone else. And I still don't like that. And I think that's why some developers are actually avoiding them. I mean, there were a lot of really good-looking games. I mean, Far Cry 4 I'm kind of interested in. But on the PS4, you're supposed to get these keys to have to play the game with someone for 2 hours. I'm like, you can give someone your key and you can play the game with them for 2 hours. There's only one problem with that for the PS4. Here's the problem. Share play. People can already play together without the game using share play. So it was kind of wasted money. I don't know. Maybe share play is going to be blocked on that game, but that would be rather stupid. I mean, like, how do you make those two announcements together in the same conference? How? Like, how do you make those two announcements in the same conference? I mean, they weren't one right after the other, but gosh, anybody thinking about it would have been like, hold on, what? What am I getting these keys for the PS4 if I can already play the game with them without them having to have it, or I can play it with them without having to have it? I mean, for people who are on YouTube who might not know all of their subscribers, these would be good giveaway gifts. To say, hey, we can play Far Cry 4 for a couple hours. I don't know you, but I mean, I don't even know if they would even work if the person's not on your friends list, but I think it would make sense that it would work if they're not on your friends list, or maybe those keys point back to your specific copy of the game. I guess I can understand that, and then they could play with you. But like I said, that would be really good for people who are YouTubers to do YouTube contests, or like anybody that just wants to do a quick giveaway. Like, a lot of famous people could actually use those keys to get to talk to some of their fans more exclusively, like through a contest. But just for like the general person, most people, if they don't already have you on their friends list, they're probably not going to want to give you a code. That's just generally how I figure. And if you're already on their friends list and they have the game or you have the game, then you can still play it together with the share play option that came with the new update. That's coming with the update. I mean, or maybe that comes out before the update. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to when exactly the update comes for the PS4. I mean, I know by the time I have one, that function will be operational and be usable. But, I mean, I was a little confused on that. I'm still kind of confused on that, why they put those two announcements together in the same conference. One of those should have been separated, maybe preferably share play. Well, not share play, but the Far Cry. It should have been done before the Gamescom conference, so people would have known that ahead of time. Forza Horizon 2 is actually looking. I'm not a big racer fan, but that game kind of gives me that Midnight Club vibe where you ride around the city and you meet up with different characters in the game and race them. But to be able to do that with actual people, so that's actually looking like it's a really fun and intriguing thing, and it's piqued my interest. Master Chief Collection, obviously, as I said before, after E3, that game has got my attention, and it's looking so much more. It looks far better now to me than it did back then, especially with them going over everything that they're doing, and they're going to have the Halo channel on Xbox Live for those who would like to. It was Xbox Live and Windows, I think they said, for those who want to partake in that. And then the Halo 5 beta, I think they're running that for 3 weeks through the Master Chief Collection, which is making me want to get that Xbox One sooner than I was thinking, because I would like to take part in that beta just to be able to earn some stuff to carry over to the actual game. I'm looking at this, so like they both did pretty decently. I'm not even gonna downplay. I do feel like they need to stop doing the teleprompter thing, though. That's kind of irritating to me. I'd rather hear it out of you. Like, yeah, have some bullet points to like quickly check and then talk about, but I'd rather hear from them how they feel about it. I mean, ugh. And Sunset Overdrive is looking even better to me again. One game that surprised me, I didn't think I would be interested at all in, is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Probably because I'm a Halo fan and the things that they're using are kind of reminding me of Halo, so it's making me think, well, maybe I might want to get that game. Like, I might want to get that game and play it. I mean, I might not get it, though. Like I said, I'm not really a big Call of Duty fan, but at the same time, It's interesting me. It piqued my interest enough to make me think about getting it. So that's basically, I guess Activision, you guys did a good job. You pulled me in, and I generally don't really like Call of Duty. I have nothing against the series personally, but I just don't see much change in it, so I don't buy a whole lot of them. Hell, getting Ghost for the Wii U was like the first Call of Duty I've bought in like 5 years, maybe 6. I don't know. It was a while. I know it was a while. I've played other ones, but I haven't bought them myself because I just didn't want them. So I've played them with other people or borrowed them from people briefly, and those are, I think, the ones I had played were all of the Call of Duties recently I had played were on the Wii. So yeah, I didn't really worry about graphics. I was just like, hey, I want to play with the Wii remote and nunchuck, and it's fun to play it like that. So that cast off aside, so I might get it. I might get Advanced Warfare for the Wii U, or if I have an Xbox One, I might get it on that. Just depends on if I have it by then. I probably won't, but if I don't, then I'll just get on the Wii U. Problem solved. I'm not gonna worry about DLC. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff that looked really interesting to me. Heck, Quantum Break actually looks pretty damn good too, and that was another one I did not think I was gonna like how it looked. But even before they went into the gameplay and they talked about how the people that created Alan Wake made the game, and I can see where the similarities between Alan Wake and Quantum Break are. Wow, and it's sad that those names of those games rhyme. But I loved Alan Wake. Like, I enjoyed that thoroughly from beginning to end. I have no problem with Alan Wake. Like, that's an amazing game to me. Story is just, for me, it pulled me in. It was interesting. There was a lot of stuff going on that I just wanted to see, and I have a feeling Quantum Break will do the same thing for me, but it will be more action oriented than Alan Wake was. So that's a plus for me. Microsoft is pulling out some games that are making me, want the Xbox One. So I'm looking at it, I was like, man, I might have to get it a little bit sooner than I was thinking. So I'm really just looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. I still do want to get, and just so people don't think I'm like against Sony, I still do want a PS4, and I even want a Vita. I mean, because there are good games available on the Vita that are just on the Vita. There's just not a whole lot of them. And the same thing goes for PS4. There are good games that will just be on the PS4, just not a lot of them at the moment. So I don't feel the push to get it. Like, a lot of stuff for PS4 that I want is coming out like middle to end of 2015. Whereas Microsoft, some of their stuff is actually dropping and has dropped already before that time period. That's why I want to get an Xbox One sooner rather than later. That was the same judgment I made when it came down to getting the Wii U. It's like, it has games that I want to play on it. That's why I'm getting it. That's the only reason anybody should get a console. It should never be about which game has the highest polygon count, which one has the better resolution. Frame rate, I'll give you. Because sometimes frame rate, depending upon the game, can affect how it plays. But even then, it shouldn't be that big of an issue as long as the game's at least 30 frames per second, and I haven't found too many games that are below that. At least from the last few generations. Those prior to probably could be considered lower frame rates, but I don't personally know, and I'm not going to worry about it. Anyhow, I don't have a whole lot to really go over for Gamescom. I just wanted to talk about a few games that I found to be interesting from Microsoft and Sony. And like I said, to point out that problem with the Far Cry 4 and getting those keys. I forgot what they're called. I know they're keys, but it's keys to something, and I can't think of it right this second. And I'm looking at, like, share play. Like, I mean, I can play multiplayer with people on my friends list, or at least one other person on my friends list with this game, without having to give them that code. I think the only outside of just thought of another use for it. If it's only one person that you're allowed to play with, but that depends on if the code allows you to play with more than one person at the same time. Now I think about it. But with those codes, if you can play with more than one person at the same time to play Far Cry 4, then it's a good idea. But if you can only play with one of them at a time, that would be an issue. Unless Far Cry is only going to be like 2 people co-op, then it wouldn't make much of a difference. Most people with their PS4s, I'm pretty sure you gotta have PlayStation Plus, but just use the share play feature. Well, yeah, you gotta have PlayStation Plus to play most of the online games anyhow for PS4. I wasn't thinking that. That was a brain fart. Yep, I can't really think of anything else I really want to go over. I'm going to try to get back into doing more videos. Unfortunately, I can't do a whole lot of gameplay videos right now because the wired 360 controller that I was using for my gameplay videos, my son kind of screwed up my cord, so my controller does not stay active if I turn it or move it in certain positions, and then I lose control of my characters in the game, and it ticks me off. So I have to get another controller before I actually actively jump back into doing gameplay videos. At least for games that I can't necessarily play with my keyboard. There are a few that I can play with my keyboard and mouse that I can probably do gameplay for, but I can't just like sit and play like an action-oriented game or a really tough platformer, because those things take accuracy that I just can't achieve on keyboard and mouse. I'm not saying it's not achievable. I can't do it. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm done, people. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff, and until the next time, please enjoy your games. Peace out.